corporate trainer. So I have experience in routing and switching and certification of CCIE Enterprise and certification with data center as core and core and DC core as well. And currently I'm working on some real implementation projects as well, side by side, like Cisco SD-WAN, Cisco SDXer, Fortinet, and Palo Alto. So on the basis of real deployment, so we will go through the course, like we will go through the example of real deployment, how you can deploy your devices in real infra, what you have to be take care of in real environment. I hope I am audible to everyone. So if guys, if you have any questions, just you can unmute yourself and we will discuss your doubts as well. Uh, Arun, am I audible? Hello, Arun, Shankar.
Mahesh here, you are audible.
Thank you, Mas. Thank you so much for confirmation. So, guys, let's start first of all with our course content. So, the first thing we will discuss about the course, what we are going to be cover in the entire training, and what we will teach, right? So, let me share my screen first of all with you. Okay, let me see. So, guys, I hope my screen is visible to everyone. If not, just let me know. Is it visible? Yeah. Okay. So the course is actually combo of Fortinet and Palo Alto firewall. So just I'm explaining the course content first, and after that we will discuss about what is the requirement of security in our network and infra. Already you know, you if you are working in the product, if any company or anywhere, so you know the value of the security components in network, because we want to protect our data in network anyhow, right? Maybe it can be from any malicious data, any threat that you are receiving, okay, any malware data that you are getting in your network. So the first thing, how we can secure the data. So to secure the data we need some great security appliances, and as we know, we have the first thing is a firewall, because firewall is the device which is giving you multiple features, right? So this firewall device have multiple ability, like to filter the traffic or to permit and deny the traffic which is coming in the network or which is going outside the network. Okay, so just an idea. Suppose before that, let me tell you the value of the firewall. So guys, just understand, if you have here network, so you have multiple users in the network, and everyone is connected with your devices. Those can be access switch in network, right? Or maybe wireless device. And after that you have some other switches, and directly I'm putting here a network device. Okay, without network device, maybe I'm using here router. Okay, directly. So router is connected with my internet. So this is my public network. And as we know, everyone is using now internet services. So this is 10.1, 10.2, and here is the 10.3, and gateway is 10.1.1.10 for me, and here we have 101.1.1.1, and here is dot 2, and this is the internet. So everyone want to access the internet services nowadays, because every application is available on network, like if you say Office 365. Okay, if I talk about, if I have some uh, maybe someone is using other tools as well, like I'm using some other applications, those are here, like maybe it can be Facebook for marketing, it can be Instagram, right? Or it can be any other application for me, Joho and something else, right? So that means everyone want to access the internet. So when traffic is going on the internet, that is good thing, because I know if any user is sending data, outside to my network, because this is my internal network, this is my internal network, right? And traffic is moving to the outside world. But maybe in return, what you are receiving, what you are receiving from the internet, so how you can make sure this traffic is safe for you, or this is not unsafe traffic, right? So we can't make sure that with a normal device, because router is just here to perform the routing. It can maybe perform routing for me, it can maybe perform netting for me, right? Those features I will get from a normal router, okay, or maybe the advanced router, because routing just to perform routing, nothing else. But now, if we say, the first thing, I need to make sure my network is secure. My network is secure. Okay, secure from which traffic I am receiving. Maybe the traffic is some malware data, or some infected malicious data for me, right? So whenever we are receiving any traffic that is incoming in your network from outside world, so the first thing we need is some great appliance. Okay, we need some strong appliance here, which be here, and it can make sure nothing is going to be happen my network, right? Nothing is going to be happen my network. So I need to install some appliance like a firewall. So whenever firewall is receiving any traffic, so I want there should be some features on the firewall which can inspect data in detail, right? So that data in detail means, what is the meaning of detail, guys? If everyone know about one concept, that is OSI. So in OSI, we have multiple layers, and all application belong to which layer, guys? All application belongs to layer 7, right? So the traffic is coming, so that maybe the traffic is belong to email. So email is also a layer 7 protocol for me. Maybe the protocol behind email is working, that is SMTP, and SMTP is layer 7 protocol, right? So whenever any traffic is coming, so I want to inspect the traffic on this firewall on layer 7 of OSI model. This is my thought, right? So now we want to achieve this level of filtering or data analysis during the moving traffic. Which traffic, guys? The moving traffic which is coming in the network or which is going outside. So the first thing, I want to perform some antivirus features on this firewall, because malicious data, or there can be any infected data in my email. Maybe email have some file, those are affected with virus or something else. So I want to perform antivirus activities on this firewall. So this is my first point, which a normal device cannot perform, like a router, right? And the other thing, maybe I have multiple users, those are consuming a lot of data in my network, right? And maybe they are trying to open some URL link, like if you say now the festival is going on, so there is a big day sale, right? So there is sale. So maybe some of the user is accessing internet on the PC, and by mistake they get chance, okay, the 60% off if I will click on this particular link. Maybe this link is not the accurate link, maybe this link is infected data. So once this user click on this link, it will just get corrupted. If this user is corrupted, it can corrupt to other users as well. So the point is, my data is not secure, right? So to protect our data, we need to install some security device and the firewall with the specific features. Features can be antivirus, or features can be which can allow like application visibility. So that means I want to see what this user is going to be access on the internet. So I want application level visibility in every traffic. So I want to check, okay, if the URL is belong to, okay, Microsoft Office 365 something, allowed this URL. If the URL is belong to mintra.com something else, block this URL. So I want filtering on this level. I can check the entire packet, and in deep level of the packet I can filter the content of it, right? So that type of things we can achieve with security appliance. So this is the requirement of security nowadays, because if anyone is going to be play with your network, if any user is existing in the network, they are trying to pass traffic with firewall. So firewall have to make sure what traffic is going on. So it's not only about the traffic is coming from outside, it's not only about the traffic is coming from outside world. So you need to make sure what traffic is forwarding by the user also from the internal. So we want here also application level visibility in traffic. Okay, so that means we want multiple features in a single box or maybe with multiple box. So that is our requirement of the security. Okay, so to achieve these things or some advanced features, we have these two firewalls in the course, Palo Alto and the FortiGate. So the Palo Alto is belong to the Palo Alto industry, Palo Alto OEM. So they have firewall. So but same kind of features we have in FortiGate, which is belong to Fortinet, right? So in this combo, what we are going to be learn. So let's start with that first. Guys, in between, if you have any doubt or any questions, just unmute yourself and you can ask that question. Okay. So the first module is going to be discussion about the next generation firewall. Next generation firewall means, okay, the what is the first thing that come in your mind when you listen about this term, the firewall. So what is the firewall according to you? The firewall is the component which allow and deny your traffic according to some security policies that you apply on the device. So just you want to allow and deny traffic, maybe some traffic you want to pass through the network, that is with some applications, like it can be Teams, it can be uh, like your Office 365, Outlook, or something else, right? And maybe some other traffic you want to block that, right? So those features you are getting on next generation firewall even. So the normal firewall have limited features, but on next generation you are getting some advanced features that is not on a normal firewall. If I talk about one firewall, suppose can filter traffic at layer 3 and layer 4 only, but maybe my layer next generation firewall can filter traffic layer 3, layer 4, and layer 7 also. Okay, so that is next generation. So we will discuss about next generation firewall. Okay, and we will discuss about the strength and about the use cases of the firewall, what this firewall can do and what we can achieve. And after that we will discuss about the deployment mode. Modules means where we can deploy and how we can deploy, like normal as firewall we can deploy, how we can deploy in the data center. Like there must be some criteria, right? If you want to deploy in data center, if you want to deploy in branch. So in data center we need some higher series component because those are more powerful in the sense to pass that traffic. Like there is always a throughput of the device. Throughput means what is the strength of the device, like how much traffic it can pass in per second. Okay, so maybe it can send this amount of traffic, it can create thousands of VPNs at a time. Okay, it can handle this amount of data, or it can create n number of policies. So these are the strength of a device, or that is all about throughput. So if I say how many current session this device can manage, current session means if single user is sending data to internet, so this is like my one session. So how many sessions can handle by per second on this device, and how many sessions can handle by the device total sessions. One is per second and one is total sessions for me. So that is depend on the device series. So according to the series wise, maybe we are receiving higher data on data center, and branches have some lower amount of data. So maybe we can install here some lower series of the same product, right? Because same product give you same features, but all about throughput. If you talk about higher series of the same product, if you talk about the lower series of the same product, so all game is depend on throughput in that case. Okay, and after that we have modes of firewalls as well, like routed mode means I want to deploy my firewall as a router also. So it can perform routing for me, it can use BGP, OSPF, right? And the transparent is like your layer 2 mode and virtual wire, so that we will discuss. And after that there are the core security policies. What is the meaning of core security policies, guys? Core security policies means the main task of the firewall. So the main task of the firewall is here. Okay, so we have security policies, like we can design and we can create the policies. Like I want to create policies for some applications, so those applications I want to allow in my network, Office 365, okay, and Teams, Outlook, and WebEx, and something else. Maybe I want to allow, and other applications I want to deny, like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So I can create those policies, okay, and then later on I can create some NAT policies because NAT is also required, right? You know why we are using NAT for the translation of private network into public network. So we have multiple modes of net: static, dynamic, and PAT as well, and we have identical net also. And here is the application based filtering where we can filter the applications, okay. And we have URL and DNS security also. Here we can filter the URLs as well, like I want to filter cisco.com or any other OEM. Maybe I don't want to use it, right? Or I want to filter some specific URLs, those are not valid, okay. So we can filter URLs as well, and we can give DNS security to the firewall, okay. And the next one is your user identity and access control. So that means you can filter the traffic according to user ID also. So like when I want to create one ID is like admin, okay, let me explain you what is the meaning of that. So suppose we have here one user, and here is the firewall, right? So firewall is now associated with one device that is known as active directory server. That is like your Windows. In our normal cases we are using Windows server, which perform active directory, where we have all database username and the passwords according to their groups. Like maybe one we have admin group, one we have HR group, one we have tech group, right? So all the groups are exist here. So what I want, this user first be part of any one of the group, like it's part of the admin group. So now according to admin group I have some specific policies on the firewall, and if this user is part of the employee groups, then it have some different policies here, right? So we want the FSSO authentication for every user. So here we want to filter the user traffic according to user identity. So first we identify who you are and from whom you want, from which domain you belong, like admin domain, HR domain, different domain, right? So accordingly we can filter the traffic, okay. And now we have role based access for employees and guests. So accordingly we can create here policies for every type of user according to their group, okay. So for that we need first integrate the firewall with active directory server. So this integration is required because every group is here. So every time whenever traffic is coming from admin user to firewall, so firewall move to this AD groups to ask, I'm receiving here one admin user traffic, so do you have some database like that? So AD will say, okay, yes, I have this data and you can approve it, right? So then traffic will pass from firewall to internet, okay. So that all we will discuss in our session. And after that we have here VPN. So as you know, VPN is like everything nowadays, because without VPN you don't have any secure communication. So if you have multiple site, so maybe site one have your one device like one firewall, and here we have another site which have firewall too. And now in between we have internet, because everyone need a lease line or an internet connection to communicate. So whenever traffic is coming from one side to another side, so the traffic is moving over the public network. And as we know, public network is not secure. Why? Because there can be any data breach or something, anyone can capture your data. And even you know there is no security, right, with data. So what we want here simply to perform something who can secure the data on the public network, right, on the open network. So we have here VPN. So as we know, VPN is virtual private network term, which is basically IPsec, which is basically IPsec. VPN is just term. So IPsec is working behind it, right? So IPsec is multiple type of VPN. So that can be site-to-site VPN, remote access VPN, okay? So in every condition we can form the VPN between the devices like this. So at that time, this VPN is giving you guarantee your data is secure when I'm going to encrypt it, right? So every traffic is going to be encrypted and pass through that tunnel, pass through that secure tunnel. So secure tunnel means data is encrypted over the public internet, and that is now secure. So we have multiple type of net here, that site to site VPN that we can create between two devices, right? In site to site VPN we have like policy based and route based. According to policy I can create, and according to routes I can create that. Okay. And after that I have some remote access VPNs like SSL VPN. Okay. And global protection and the 40 client. SSL is actually the 40 client VPN. Okay. Like SSL VPN belongs to every firewall, not only with Fortinet or Palo Alto. So, but the name of SSL VPN is different on every OEM. If you talk about Fortinet have 40 client, Cisco have AnyConnect, and Palo Alto have different, right? Like Global Protect. So, but the VPN is still same. The working is almost same, because in SSL VPN also we are using IPsec, but maybe the type of configuration and maybe the packet types can be different in this IPsec connection. Okay, so what we need to understand here, we need to understand the IPsec concept, and then you can understand any type of VPN. That can be global product, that can be 40 client, because the fundamentals remain same. The fundamental remains same, but the terms change with every OEM. So Fortinet is using 40 client, Palo Alto is using global product, and if you say Cisco is using any connect, but still the packet exchange and the internal information like algorithms, if you ask about Diffie-Hellman, those remain same, right? And the next one is we have advanced threat protection, so in which we are going to be use like antivirus features of the firewall, which is IPS, intrusion prevention system, and IDS, right? So where we can use antivirus, antibot, and anti-spamware protection features on the firewall to filter the traffic when it's receiving in the network. Okay, so those features we will discuss in this module. And the next module is high availability and the load balancing. So, what is the meaning of high availability and the load balancing, guys? Any one of you? Okay, high availability means if I have single device in my network. So, just try to understand. Here, these are my users connected with the switch, layer 2 device, and it's connected with the firewall, and firewall is connected with the internet. So, right now, I have here one device only, that is single firewall device. So that means if there is any hardware failure in my network, so that is single point of failure, that is single point of failure in network. So if I have single point of failure in network, those hosts can't communicate anymore. Why? Because there is no firewall device, so there is no reachability with internet now. So what we are trying to achieve here now, we want to we want to use high availability feature here. What is the meaning of high availability? If one firewall goes down, at least you have second one who can take care of the rest of the network. So we want to install one more firewall here, like firewall 1 and firewall 2. Those will be in sync like this, okay, and connect with the internet. So in that case, I can use one as my primary. So this is like my primary, or you can say the active, right? So I can use this as active or this as passive, or I can use this one also active and this one also active. So both have possibility. Okay. So in HA you can make both in active, or you can make in active and passive. Okay. So active means those will continuously forward the traffic. So traffic can be come to maybe this firewall, it will forward, or traffic will come to this firewall, it will forward, right? But in the active case, active passive, only active firewall forwards the traffic, and the passive is going to just watch, and it must have a duplicate copy, or you can say the connection which traffic is passing through firewall 1. Firewall 1 contain the connection here for every session what is passing through it. So those connection entry sim at the same moment, this firewall also going to maintain itself. Why? If there is any failure on this firewall, so whenever traffic is coming back, maybe the traffic is forwarded through this firewall at internet, and suddenly this firewall went down, right? So the traffic is receiving on this firewall. Now if there is no entry, firewall will drop the traffic. So what do we want? Any traffic which passed through primary, and after that there is hardware failure on primary firewall, so every traffic that is on internet and coming back in your domain to users, so that must pass through passive firewall, because now passive is going to become active, and every connection must be here identical, right? So that is the reason. So that's why we are using here high availability. Okay. And the second term is here load balancing. Load balancing is like you can also use firewall as your load balancing device, which can load balance the traffic on multiple servers. So that is basically for your DMZ networks. So just we can take an example of that. Okay, so just an assume you are using here one firewall, and here is the public network. So public network have some users. Okay, those are using internet, and here you have multiple servers. Okay, server 1, server 2, and server 3. So maybe these are suppose Google servers. So whenever traffic is coming from this user, so they are going to hit on a single IP, like IP is here 102.1.1.1, right? Everyone is hitting on this single IP address, because if they want to access like google.com here, right? So for google.com, they can hit on this IP address. So now it's firewall job. Firewall can share that request to maybe the first server to load balance the traffic, and maybe the second user is traffic sending traffic to the same IP. So that time maybe firewall is sending traffic to the second user, sorry, to the second server. If traffic is coming from the third user to the same public IP on firewall, so that time maybe firewall can send data to the third server. So firewall also doing here load balancing for us. So we can use this feature as well, right? To load balance the traffic. So that how we can load balance in our network as well. Okay, so that is HA active and active passive setup, and device also synchronize the session for failover testing, and even we have load balancing in it.
You mean it's working as a reverse proxy?
Yeah, you can say like a proxy device, but proxy is something else. But load balancing is little bit something else. Even proxy have same concept, but proxy is for different type of security network. Don't worry, we will
But
discuss that.
is it designed to work as a load balancer, or but
Design
because if
is like design is like load balancer here. Proxy is actually for my internal network. So like in proxy I can use a device. So whenever every user want to access the internet, they have to put proxy device IP inside their device, or you can say browser, and I will only allow that proxy IP to the internet, not to every user IP. So that is some other concept actually. So this is just for load balancing. So that means you have one public IP that is receiving all request, all traffic on it, and later on it will send data to every server according to the load balancing algorithm, where it have to send to which server. Okay.
okay,
So the next one is traffic segmentation and zero trust. What is traffic segmentation, guys? Okay. Traffic segmentation is actually, let me explain you. So traffic segmentation is the first thing, on firewall we have here one term that is VLAN. So you know about VLAN, right? So VLAN is just to divide the broadcast domain on a layer 2 device. So similar on firewall, we have multiple zones. Zones are like we can create, if we have 10 VLANs, we can create 10 zone on firewall. So according to every zone, I will create here separate policy. Like it's like this. Suppose we have here firewall, and here is the internet. So firewall is connected here, and we have switch. So we have segmented the traffic. So we have here three users like this. So this is part of VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. So and this is I'm using as a layer to port as a trunk. So connected with my firewall. So every traffic of every user traffic is first come to the firewall. So they can't communicate together directly, right? So now on firewall I'm receiving traffic of everyone. So for VLAN 10 I'm going to create here one security zone. So that is my like LAN 1 zone, right? And for VLAN 20, I'm going to create here separate network zone LAN 2. And for VLAN 30, I can create LAN 3 zone. So every zone now I have access. I can make permission to communication between LAN 1 and LAN 2. I can make permission between them also and between them also, right? So now I can make sure who can communicate or who cannot communicate. Like VLAN 10 user can communicate with 20 or not. VLAN 20 user can communicate with VLAN 10 or not. So in both directions, I have control to control my network access through the policies. So I can segment my network first, and then later on I can define the policies on my security appliance. Because maybe even I want to secure the internal communication. Why? Maybe this VLAN is belong to servers, right? So I don't want to access everyone directly to the server data. So just I want only VLAN 10 user can access it. Maybe these those are from specific department. So they have to come to the firewall, and firewall have policy. So firewall will allow, okay, VLAN 10 that is LAN 1 zone can make communication with LAN 3 zone users, right? So that will forward like this. Yeah, just it will create maybe traffic utilization or link utilization here. But that how you can give security in network. That is the first thing, that is segmentation of traffic. And the second point is here we have one feature, that is vdom. So that is virtual dom is actually you can divide your physical box into multiple virtual box actually. That is like if I have one firewall here and I'm service provider. So I can divide this firewall, and here maybe one my of customer can connect, and here my second customer can connect. So I no need to give multiple physical boxes directly to my customer. I don't need to use two different firewalls. So I can install only one firewall, and both customer can use same firewall. So they can use VDOM 1 and they can use VDOM 2. Okay, so that means you are dividing virtually your device here. Okay, so that is VDOM feature, and the same feature is on Palo Alto also. That is virtual systems on Palo Alto. And here we can also given the micro segmentation of isolation of apps and users as well. And we have zero trust network architecture with Palo Alto on the Fortinet. Okay. And the next part is about logging. So how we can collect the logs from the device. Normally we have some external tools. If ever you heard about this in production, there is SIM. So SIM can be from any particular OEM or vendor. It's not okay, it can be any OEM device. So we have multiple type of vendors in market. Those are giving features of sim is basically collecting your data and give you the logs and all detail, right? Whatever going on, the live logs. So you can say the Splunk and Elastic, or there can be more, right? So even we can get traffic monitoring and threat monitoring via our control. So Panorama is the controller of Palo Alto Firewall, and FortiManager is the controller of Fortinet. So we will see those also during the practicals, and how they can check the traffic utilization. So through through these controller you can even manage your multiple firewalls. Like if I have 100 Fortinet firewalls, so I have single 40 manager controller to manage all of the firewall. And similar goes with my panorama. So panorama is also controller for Palo Alto, where we can capture the packet, debug the sessions, and do the live troubleshooting. Okay. And the next is cloud security and integration. So what is cloud security and integration, guys? Like whenever we want to integrate the firewall with our security, maybe if you have a Zscaler and something else, so we can integrate our firewalls with those to send the traffic on the cloud. So maybe cloud have some services those customer want to access. So like here you have firewall, and here you have internet, and here are these services like GCP. Okay, so you need to create some secure tunnels with them and to integrate. Okay, that is the first thing. You can integrate your security devices with those so they can transport the data. And the second is about your implementation. Maybe those firewall also can implement on those. Maybe you have here data center, so entire data center is your cloud based, and maybe you are using cloud of AWS, Azure, or GCP. So you want to install your firewalls on the cloud. So those are also in HA, like firewall 1 and firewall 2. So how you can deploy your firewalls on cloud? So basically, if you are using any virtual image, any VM, and you are deploying currently in your laptop using VMware, so the concept is same. So that is like a third party platform where you are installing your applications like firewall, router, switch, right? So similar those applications we are installing on the third party infra, that is cloud for us. So cloud is basically data center where you have they have servers, and on servers you are installing your appliances. Basically you are getting the some space like CPU, RAM, and storage. So those things you are getting from the cloud, and you can install your operating system here, and later on you will get some public IP to access them through anywhere. And after that you can connect with your spoke sites. So maybe I have some spoke sites here. One firewall is here, second firewall is here, and third firewall is here. So everyone can connect, like every site can connect with my data center. So maybe these are the physical hardware, but these are the virtual for me, because those are installed on some third party platform, right? So that how we can integrate and how we can install that. And after that we have secure SD-WAN with Palo Alto and AIOps with secure SD-WAN with FortiGate and AIOps with Palo Alto. Like the advanced features of the product, like if you know about Cisco SD-WAN, so similar SD-WAN solution have with FortiGate and Palo Alto also. So that we will discuss in at the end of the course, and I will show you the implementation of it as well. Like they are giving you some advanced features through controller and the firewalls to deploy the SD-WAN solution. And the next one is the module 10 is just about the automation. Okay, so where we can interact with basic things, REST API, how we can interact REST API with our firewalls, Ansible, Terraform with Palo Alto on the FortiGate. So maybe we will try with some automation configuration to deploy the policies of the firewall and compliance check. Okay, so that we will see. So that is all about the course, guys. So just let me know where you have doubt in this all content. So you can ask. Guys, any one of you? Feel free to ask, please.
The course is starting with one by one, right? It's first is Palo Alto or FortiGate, then after second one, right?
Yeah, course is starting one by one, but in middle or in like second half of the course, we will merge it. I will start because the basics things we will start with FortiGate, like the net and the policy. And the same thing we will interact, like maybe I'm using a practical where I can involve both firewalls, like one side have Fortinet and second side have Palo Alto. So how you can deploy two different products, right, on your locations, how you can create the IPsec tunnels, and during that what will be the traffic flow, how you have to configure policies, and how you have to troubleshoot if there is any problem. So normally maybe we are not using same product on every side, right? So maybe your customer is using Palo Alto and you are using Fortinet, and you want to establish secure tunnels. So those we will see. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And if some days are missing or something, we can get the recording, right? Before the.
Yeah, you will get the recording of the lectures of every day. Every
Okay.
after every
Okay.
class, you will get the recording. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
and then notes those we will use during the class.
I have a question, Sukhbir. Am I audible?
Yeah, Promesh,
So,
right?
so yeah, Prameg. So, Sukhbir,
Yeah.
I was informed about lab access. So, would it be also provided?
Yeah, lab access also be provided, so you can practice on that lab,
Okay,
and team
okay,
will share the lab access with you soon, like
okay,
when the required. But the basic configuration or the single or two firewall things you can even do on your laptop if you want to try. So I will help you in that installation also, and I we will provide you the softwares as well for your own practice.
sure, Sukhbir. Thank you.
Okay, like where we are using controllers and like high appliances, that time you can access the labs. But then normal firewalls, I guess those are compatible with normal laptops like i5 8 to 10 GB RAM. So that is possible, even I'm using that.
Okay,
Okay. Okay, guys, if there is no doubt, so let's start with the basic content which we discussed. So we are starting with the Fortinet first. So the Fortinet approach remain very easy, and the configuration is almost same. So just give me a minute. Okay. Okay, guys. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Is it visible, guys?
Yeah, yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So here I'm starting, guys, with the Fortinet device. So FortiGate firewall actually belongs to 40 iOS, right? Or Fortinet. So the OEM is Fortinet. So we are talking about Fortinet firewall because there are multiple appliances of Fortinet. If you talk about, they have their own access point as well as they have switches, right, and firewall and other appliances as well in security. If you go in the detail, so the first thing we are discussing about FortiGate firewall is a stateful firewall and a VPN gateway with other features. So what is the meaning of stateful firewall? Oh, any one of you know about that term?
It's I can disable source and destination, not like access list or reverse.
Uh-huh.
When
Okay.
I create when I create a policy to go out,
Mm-hmm.
when come back will match the same policy without
Right.
creating
You're
a.
correct. So let me tell you actually what is the meaning of that. FortiGate firewall. So this is a stateful firewall, right? Stateful firewall means it's talking about the traffic flow. So like, what is the meaning of stateful? So you need to understand the stateful is when traffic is passing through through the firewall and can return back using the same endpoint, right? So that means when firewall pass the traffic to internet, so firewall always maintain a table that is actually known as state table, or sometimes we call it connection table, sometimes we call it connection table. So that means this connection table is actually entry of my traffic, what type of traffic is passed through the firewall. So for an example, my user is trying to initiate some TCP connection with outside firewall, sorry, outside device. So here we have firewall, and here is some server, just an assume server on internet, and user is existing here. So user have IP 10.1.1.1, gateway is 10.10 for me, and IP is 120.1.1.1, and here is 102.1.1.2 IP. So user is initiating here some traffic. So user is initiating a synchronization packet. So in that packet is my TCP packet, right? And the source IP is 10.1 and destination is 102.2. And after that there is some layer 2 information in the packet, and traffic forwards to the firewall. So whenever firewall is checking the traffic, firewall always check the policies, what policies you have created. If in policies traffic is allowed, firewall sense the traffic and maintain a table that is connection table. So in connection table, firewall have entry for the same thing. So traffic is TCP based. Okay, like traffic is TCP based coming from 10.10.1. On the port number is this. Okay, and the destination is 102. Destination IP is 102.1.1.2, and port number is maybe 80 or 443. Okay, so that entry is maintained by the firewall. So when traffic is moving to the server, so server is giving the reply. So reply is like, this is sin plus ACK. Okay, this is sin plus ACK, and now the source IP address is 102.1.1.2, and port number is 443, and the destination is 10, not 10 dot, maybe there is some NAT or something, but currently I'm using the same IP. We are not talking about NAT or anything. And here we have random port number that is received. So when traffic is coming on the firewall checks, okay, I have these entries already in my table, because this is the reverse traffic. If this TCP is for sync, so we are expecting SYN plus ACK, right? Not the sync only. So that SYN plus ACK packet is received on the firewall. Firewall match the IP, source IP that is existing here, and the destination IP that also exists, and the port numbers are also here, right? And here we have traffic is SYN plus acknowledgement. So if we send SYN packet, so that must be SYN plus acknowledgement. So the traffic is coming to the host. So firewall pass the traffic. So we no need additional policy in that case. So that means this connection entry is because of the feature of stateful inspection on firewall. Stateful inspection on firewall, right? So that how firewall creates the entry, guys. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Okay, so the next point is VPN gateway with another feature. So that is our gateway device for the network. So where we will get multiple features, and features are like, so what are the features, guys? So these are the features we are getting with our firewall. So the first thing, the FortiGate firewall is proprietary operating system. So this is actually 40. This is 40 OS, right? 40 OS means this have dedicated operating system of its. That means we are using a dedicated appliance, not a random firewall. And the second thing, we already discussed about stateful packet inspection on the firewall. And the third point is CLI and the GUI access. So that means for management, we have CLI access, we have command line access, And we have GUI access also. For the CLI and GUI, even we can configure the firewall and we can troubleshoot the firewall. Okay. And the next point is here IPv4 static and default routing support. So that means firewall support IPv4 static route. We can give a random route and even we can give default route. So random route is like I want to give a route like 20.1.1.0/24. So this is normal static route for me. But even I want to give the default gateway to the firewall. So that how I can give the default gateway to firewall. So both are supporting on the device. And in IPv4, dynamic routing protocols are also supported because we discussed firewall also support routing feature, that is layer 3 features. So that means it must support RIP, OSPF, ISIS and BGP protocol. And even in future maybe we need to use IPv6, so product must use the IPv6 features as well, like RIP-NG. RIP-NG is the latest version of RIP in IPv6. OSPF version 3 for v4 and v6, version 2 is only for v4. ISIS v6 and MPBGP multi-protocol BGP which support IPv4, IPv6, VPN v4, VPN v6 even. And we can use the link monitoring for IP4 subnets and for v6 subnets as well. And the next is system zone support is supporting the multiple zoning. We can configure like zone interfaces on firewall. And after that we have here IPv4 and IPv6 NAT support as well. So we can configure NAT for v4 and v6 and even from v4 to v6 and v6 to v4. So that is also. So these are the features and we have some more features here. Okay, here we have. Now we have IPv4 and IPv6 user authentication support. We can authenticate the users on the basis of IPv4 address and IPv6 addresses, guys. If you remember, we discussed about IPsec in the content, so that also support IPsec feature. So where we can configure site-to-site VPN, we can use dial-up VPN. What is dial-up? We will discuss, and we can discuss about AD VPN. Guys, you know about AD VPN? Okay, maybe some of you know about this VPN if you have gone through the Cisco content, that is DMVPN. So what is AD VPN? Try to understand. So we have here one firewall like this. Maybe this is our data center, okay? So this is firewall 1 and maybe this is data center site. And here we have firewall 2 on a spoke site, firewall 3 and firewall 4, right? So that means here in between we have internet or maybe we have MPLS. So through that everyone is connected. Now, so what we want, every spoke means like our branch site, okay? These are the spoke sites for me. And data center is like headquarters site for me. This is my headquarters site, okay? That is hub site. We also call it hub. So that means what we want, every site must make here VPN connection. So what we can make here VPN connection with our hub site like this. This is not site to site VPN, guys. This is AD VPN. So this concept comes with AD VPN, okay? AD VPN is like DIM VPN in Cisco. If you know, dynamic multiple VPN, okay? That is in case of Cisco. But here we have AD VPN concept, similar like DIM VPN. So that means this is hub. So everyone must connect with the hub. So that is like static tunnel now. These are like static tunnels. But they can also create their own tunnels during the communication between spoke to spoke. So AD VPN is giving you concept. You can connect with hub and later on, according to your requirement, you can make dynamic tunnels. These are dynamic tunnels. So dynamic tunnels always between spoke to spoke. That is spoke to spoke dynamic VPNs, okay? So those features we can use, and we will see this is using when we are implementing on a big deployment, the Fortinet deployment. So maybe I have 100 of sites, so in which I'm using all firewall belongs to Fortinet. So that time I can use AD-VPN concept, and even AD-VPN concept is working with SD-WAN in Fortinet. So that we will discuss. Okay, and after that we have here SSL VPN support. So what is SSL VPN support, or what is you can say 40 client, guys? Any idea? So SSL VPN is actually, this is for end users, right? So you can say SSL VPN is
Like
the VPN.
like channel mode and
Uh-huh.
web mode.
Users to connect users to firewall over a public network. That means when I want to connect my users with my firewall through a secure tunnel on a public internet. So normally those are working from home, right? Those are working from home. So they have always a tool in laptop. So they have a tool in laptop, right? So that tool is can be like your 40 client in the case of Fortinet, right? Or that can be global product in the case of Palo Alto, or that can be any connect in the case of Cisco. So that tool, when you are enabling on the laptop, so that tool have some public IP address and the credentials. So those public IP actually belongs to your firewall, right? And credentials, those are created on your firewall policies for you. So that means whenever any user trying to connect with your VPN, so here you have a client, and here is the internet, and here we have firewall. So this is firewall in your data center, right? And here you have switch, server, storage, everything. And now user is connecting with internet. So whenever user is going to enable the tool, so this tool try to initiate to connect a VPN connection with the firewall like this. So that means this is now secure connection. So whenever this user is trying to access anything, so the old data first of all pass through firewall first using this VPN, and then it will move to the internet. That means if you are using even internet, and even you are accessing any policy, so every traffic that is generated by your laptop, if maybe you are sitting in your home network inside in your home, you are connected with broadband connection or Wi-Fi. So that means all traffic is passing through that VPN tunnel connected between the host and the firewall. So firewall check every single policy or every policy that is for user. So according to policy, user can access the limited required traffic from internet, or maybe from the internal network, right? So that is SSL with the help of SSL VPN. Is it clear?
Is it clear? But what is the difference between tunnel mode and web mode for the SSL?
Could you repeat again?
What is the difference between tunnel mode and web mode? If I have SSL VPN, not 40 client, is like a browser.
Actually, we will discuss that in detail when we are going on SSL VPN in detail, because we need to understand the basic fundamental like about IPsec. So if you know about IPsec also have modes and multiple phases for that, right? Like main mode, quick mode, and aggressive mode, right? So when we know about these things, so then you get more detailed idea about that. So then maybe I can explain in better way to you, right? So just here I'm giving a quick idea about SSL VPN, because we have a complete session on SSL VPN as well, and the practical as well, right? So we will try to initiate from our uh, user using the uh, tool, so they can connect with the firewall, right? So we will
Yeah.
see all everything during the practical.
I have other question. if
Yeah,
if
please.
all or if all VPN user connect to the firewall and the LAN user connect as well,
Uh-huh.
is it like headache or heavy traffic to the firewall?
Yeah, it can be heavy traffic, but that is depend on the appliance throughput as well, right? Like how many VPN sessions. So like we have license here on Firewall. So license says maybe you have 1000 VPN license on Firewall. So the first thing, how many users through VPN can connect on the Firewall, right? Or sometimes we have unlimited, right?
Hmm.
So that is the first thing. So that means if any traffic that is passing through the firewall, so that can be maybe giving you a load, right? That can maybe utilize your that link. So but in big organizations they have multiple data center for that. They have multiple data center. Like if I'm sitting in India right now, so maybe my nearest data center is in Delhi, right? So my traffic will go to the Delhi firewall. And if someone belong to Bangalore, so maybe their data center is in Bangalore, okay? So their traffic will go to the Bangalore firewall. And even data centers also have connectivity with each other. So that how they split the traffic, and that how they load balance the traffic on multiple data center. But if the organization is a small, and even they have lower number of users, right? In that case, so automatically the traffic is less, and they can use Firewall according to that what module they can use. Like Firewall have higher 65,000 series, so those you can use. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so after that, now the next point is here about IPv4 and IPv6 server load balancing. So what is the server load balancing we discussed? If traffic is coming on multiple servers, so we can install here firewall in between. So every traffic first of all goes to the firewall, and firewall will decide where you have to pass it. Okay, just a minute. Okay, no problem. Okay. So the next is here about the transparent firewall support. What is the transparent firewall support? Any idea? Transparent firewall support. Okay, transparent firewall support is like your layer 2 appliance. That is actually used in some cases or in some scenarios. Like I can give you one scenario here, and I can explain you in better way what is the transparent. Transparent is actually layer 2 mode of the firewall, right? Okay, transparent is, this is layer 2 mode of firewall, where firewall can forward the traffic using MAC address instead of routing table. But still firewall do layer 7 traffic filtering. So that means just only skip one thing. What is that? That is routing. Firewall no need to do routing here. Firewall can forward the traffic just using the MAC address like a normal switch. But still, what traffic firewall is receiving, still check and do the layer 7 traffic filtering. So maybe in some deployment where we have network and we can't change the network. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, so just suppose here is the LAN user. Okay, those are connected with my switch 1, switch 2, and here is the router. Okay, and now router have here internet. So maybe router have directly here public IP, and we can't change that. So somehow in between, I need to install my firewall like this, right? So whenever I'm going to install the firewall, maybe I can't change the IP. That is the IP 202 is here, right? So firewall is just putting between these two layer 3 devices, router and the service provider. So firewall is just installing as a layer 2, but firewall do every traffic inspection which is passing through it. Okay, so firewall check what I have to forward or what I have not to forward, and similar what traffic is coming, it will inspect first and then forward here, but on the basis of layer 2 addresses like MAC address. Layer 2 address is like MAC address, guys. Is it clear? Everyone?
It's mean like is work normal but using MAC address.
Yeah, correct. So that is the transparent mode, because in some scenarios where your layer 3 deployment is already going on, maybe you are talking about the production network, right? So in production
Mhm.
network, maybe you can't change the layer 3 connectivity. Layer 3 connectivity means I'm talking about the subnet which is already assigned. Like here is IP already assigned and here is assigned. So maybe there are some scenarios where I can't change my IPs. Like I can't separately configure here one network between firewall and the router, and I can't configure a separate network here between them, right? So in that case, I need to install the firewall as a layer 2. So just I need security right now, but I can't enable layer 3 feature of it. So in that case, I need to use the transparent mode. Okay.
But if I have like I would like apply a policy using sources the the LAN. How can
Yeah.
I?
Like still you can create the policy here on firewall. Like firewall still check the source IP, destination IP, port number, destination port number, and even the layer 7 application, right? So just it
Mhm.
is checking everything that is in your packet, maybe layer 3 information, layer 4 or layer 7, because that is part of policy. But router cannot take decision according to the destination IP to forward the traffic now. Router have to check layer 2 information now. What is the destination MAC? What is the source MAC, right? So those things
Right.
firewall have to check.
Okay.
Okay. And then next is here, we already discussed about that deployment. So that is very important in every scenario. So high availability is requirement. So we need to install two firewalls. Okay. So one we can use as active or we can use as active and passive. So mostly active and active passive. So maybe I have firewall one in my network, and I have firewall 2. So they have one link directly connected. So if you check on some lower level firewall, you need a separate normal data port that is used to connect the HA between them. HA means they have to send some keep alive to each other after a few timer, right? After some seconds. So just to let know each other, yeah, I'm still alive. Okay. And some higher series appliance, maybe even on the Fortinet, if you check, like if you have lower series like 50F some firewall on Fortinet, they don't have dedicated port for HA. So you have to choose one of the data port by yourself and configure that port as HA configuration. So that is possible. But if you talk about, like I'm talking about 200F something on same Fortinet appliance. So 200F have dedicated HA port on the firewall. Okay, because the series is higher. So they have given you dedicated port in that case. So you can use this dedicated port only for HA. You no need to use separate data port, right? That is one thing. And after that, we have here SD-WAN support as well. What is SD-WAN support, guys? So SD-WAN support is
So
actually,
one second. One question. So if we are working with the 6F, we can configure one port to HA in, right?
yeah.
Manually configure, right? Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay. So like,
I
yeah,
means that we are in the lower firewall like 16F or 17F. Uh, with a small organization, we can configure any one of the port as a HA, right?
right. We can use some dedicated port. Like if I have normal, they have 128 port, I guess. I have seen on
Yeah.
firewall. So you can choose any one of them port. So you have to directly connect between firewall firewalls
1 to 2 second
using
firewall.
Ethernet,
Okay.
because those are RJ45 ports. Yeah, those are RJ45 ports, and you can configure them as a HA. So that is possible.
Okay.
Okay. And after that, the SD-WAN is like software defined WAN. So software defined WAN is actually multiple things or multiple features. Those are coming together. That is my point of view. So in SD-WAN, the first thing you are getting controllers. What you are getting, guys? Controllers, right? So if you talk about Cisco, if you talk about Fortinet, Palo Alto, so the first thing you are getting the controllers. Those are controlling only few things. And what are those? The first thing is management, right? First thing is management. So for management, Fortinet is giving you 40 manager. Fortinet is giving 40 manager, right? And the second component is like your analyzer, right? Analytic device, you can say. So for that, Fortinet is giving 40 analyzer. Okay. And the third is your like data plane traffic or control plane traffic. So that is our firewall, Fortinet, FortiGate. That is FortiGate, right? So now these appliances make your SD-WAN solution. So these appliances are also using some other features. So first of all, in SD-WAN, you always have normal architecture is like hub and spoke architecture, in which main site is going to become hub and other sites are going to become as a spoke. If you remember, we discussed one firewall is going to become hub here, right? And other firewalls are going to become your spoke like this. Okay, so they have to connect with hub. So here Fortinet is using ADVPN. What it's using, guys, in SD-WAN? ADVPN. So ADVPN is like hub and spoke architecture. So this is static tunnel between firewall, between hub and spoke firewall. So this is hub site and these are the spoke sites. So first they are using ADVPN, and in even that case in SD-WAN there is one thing like let me put here. So here we have internet, right? So maybe your firewall is connected with two links here. Maybe this is the hub site. We have connected two firewall. So what I can do virtually, I can bundle these in a single port, and that single port I can call inside the SD-WAN. So that means I can even load balance the traffic here on both ports simultaneously. I can forward the traffic on both. And what is the purpose of it? I need to create only one policy because now this is logically one interface for me in SD-WAN, right? So now I can monitor my traffic. So here in SD-WAN we are using SLA, service level agreement. Service level agreement is actually monitoring your physical links, and on physical links they are monitoring the delay. What is the delay, right? What is the latency, and what is the packet drop? So these things are monitored through the SLA. So SLA is continuously sending the keep alive for these links after a several dedicated time interval, and during those captures they analyze, okay, how much load is on the link, how much delay is on the link. So everything is captured, and accordingly they are utilizing the link, which link is preferred in that case for load balancing. So those combinations is giving you idea of SD-WAN in Fortinet. Okay, so you have that is SD-WAN solution. So that SD-WAN solution contain multiple things. The first thing is like management of your devices. So every device you can manage through 40 manager. So if I have 100 firewalls in my network, so I have one controller in my data center, maybe that is on cloud, not mandatory on hub site. So it's not mandatory, it can be anywhere else on cloud as well, right? So my manager is installed, so where I can troubleshoot, configure and monitor everything. Analyzer, that is giving you log and reports of your network according to application throughput. It can be anything, right? and the data traffic and control plane is managed through the FortiGate firewall itself. So I will create here one site as my hub, or maybe I have dual hub, maybe two hub sites for me. So for that, I'm using ADVPN protocol in Fortinet. So that ADVPN protocol is actually making the tunnels. So these are static tunnel with every spoke site. But later on, using the same ADVPN protocol, FortiGate firewalls automatically create the dynamic tunnels just to make communication from site 1 to site 2. So this is like Cisco SD-WAN, similar component, right? And the third thing is here we have SLA. SLA is just to monitor your links, their health, delay, latency, jitter, packet drop on that, and accordingly using the physical links, right? If they are in bundle or not. So all these components make your one solution, that is SD-WAN. Okay, so I will explain you in detail how this SD-WAN configuration we can do. So normally I deployed a project, so that was totally 14 so we were using their SD-WAN solution. So we had controllers, those were on GCP cloud. Okay, so all controller were installed on the cloud, and same cloud was using my some applications like sim application and other applications for as logging management purpose, right? If you know about those applications. So and after that other sites was my spoke sites, and everyone was with ADVPN. So that is the entire solution of SD-WAN. That what I understand. And similar if you go with other OEM like Cisco, so Cisco solution is bit different. Okay, but this is the normal SD-WAN solution. If you can afford this, that is better for you. So all about actually money, what you can afford, right? So there are multiple SD-WAN solutions in industry. So if depends on your pocket how much you can pay for a solution. So this is like affordable solution for a small organizations, right? Like if your organization is have 100 sites, so if you go with Cisco solution, that is very costly. Okay, but accordingly you will get the features, but the concept still remains same. The Cisco is using separate protocols, maybe still Cisco is also using SLA concept, Cisco also using its own controller, right? But that task, the workflow remain different. That is other point. I hope this point is clear to everyone. That's the one concept here. Okay. So after that, FSSO is like a single sign-on concept where device can authenticate using the username, the authentication. So accordingly, I can create like multiple groups. Like if I have here user, and here is the firewall must integrate with one active directory server. So I will create multiple accounts on here. If I explained already about it, like I can create admin account, employee, guest, right? So user must authenticate first on firewall. So firewall don't have database, so firewall asks the user is coming with some credential, so I need to verify on AD, so AD will give reply back. So that how your firewall authenticate with those features. Like firewall check, okay, this information is I'm getting from AD, so the user is belong to admin department, so that is in my policy. So I will create the policy on firewall using the FSSO concept. Okay. And the next is like vwire, that is also like virtual layer 2 we will discuss. And after that we have interface redundancy support that I explained. Let me explain you again. So in SD-WAN, what we are getting, if we have here Fortinet firewall, so I have two links, right? Normally, so every link have separate configuration in my case. But if I'm using SD-WAN concept, I can bundle both of them in single link. Normally I can bundle 255 links, but that is not like feasible solution. So normally if I have two link, or maybe I have three link or four link, I can bundle all of the link and I can create one virtual link. Okay, So that virtual link is forwarding all the traffic to my internet in SD-WAN. So I'm getting here redundancy. If one link fails, still my traffic is moving with the second one. Why? Because the second link is up, and which is part of my virtual link on SD-WAN, right? So that virtual link we can create. Okay. And the last thing, we have central management and support using the analyzer and using the FortiManager. So that we have. So those things we will discuss in Fortinet, guys. So till here, do you have any doubt, guys? Just let me know. Anyone? Okay, so like this is just the first class. So we will discuss all these things on Fortinet Firewall. So just I can show you a small idea about the Cisco, about the Fortinet Firewall. So I will show you how we can access the firewall and how to get access of it, right? Just a minute. Okay, so this is virtual lab basically, where we can use the appliances and to access them. Just let me verify one thing quickly. Okay, so maybe I'm using this firewall. So I will show you in from the next class like how we can configure. So this is my firewall. The password configuration we have to do during the initial configuration. And what I have did here configuration, the command line is a bit different from Cisco. Show system interface. So this is the command where we can check the interface configuration, like the configuration command. So I added my port number 1 on firewall and I configured this particular IP, right? And I allowed some access like ping, HTTPS and HTTP and all this. Okay. And now I have GUI access of the firewall. Okay. So here is the GUI access. So if you check in the GUI access, first of all, you will get the dashboard of the device where you have host name, serial number, the firmware, right? Everything and the timer and the WAN IP if you have. Then you have here license information, which license you are getting. So normally this is the virtual image where we don't have a proper license, but we can do some configuration or normal features on the firewall. And we get a small duration like 15 days access of the device. So after that you can use a new firewall or you can just get backup copy of the configuration to upload on the firewall, right? And if you want to check some specific configuration on security, you can check here. Right now there is nothing. And even the network is like routing, DHCP. So right now I have just one route that is directly connected because I have given one IP. This is my network which is connected on the port 1. Gateway is not here because I have not given any uh, default route. Okay. And after that, if you want to configure anything from the GUI, like you want to configure IP address, you need to move in the network section here. And network section have like interfaces first where you can check all the interfaces. So right now this is my virtual image. So it's showing like normal 24 ports because I need to add virtual ports by myself in virtual image during the booting the image, right? But right now I have only 4 ports. So if I want to configure any port, I have to just move inside it. Okay, wait a minute, just taking some time. So here you have port, you can configure the name of the port, VRF role, right? And you can give the manual IP, like if I want to give here, like this is my IP address, right? /24 is my network. Maybe you are getting IP address through DHCP, so you can use DHCP as well. So that is depend on you. And on that interface, what do you want to enable? If you want to access HTTP, you want to do ping, okay? Maybe you want to access through your management server controller, Forti manager. You want to do SSH or some security fabric if you have some 40 switches below. So you need to enable all these features. And after that you have some DHCP services here, so not right now, and maybe make sure this is enabled here, and just okay. So that how you can configure IP on the interface, and you can check now port 2 have here IP address, right? Like the port 1. Similar, we have here DNS information, like which are the DNS. These are the public DNS. You can specify by your own, like which DNS you want. Actually, those DNS are used by Fortinet Firewall for itself, and the DNS for even the DHCP. So these are for by its own, maybe for Fortinet or for something, right? But you can give the global DNS also here. And you have here some SD-WAN configuration if you want to do the Fortinet SD-WAN. Okay, right now there is no SD-WAN configuration. There is no virtual link. We don't have any zone. Even we don't have any rules right now. So there is no configuration and even no performance SLA. Okay, we have some default those for DNS, but we need to configure SLA for packet loss, latency, and jitter for our network as well. And then static route. If you want to configure any route, that is here. The policy routes, right? That we can use REAP, OSPF, BGP, routing objects. And the next section is about policy and objects. We have here firewall policy. So by default, firewall have just one implicit deny policy, like no one to pass anything, right? That is implicit deny all to all. If anyone want to post the traffic, pass the traffic through firewall, that will be deny. Okay. And after that we have some addresses. Those addresses we want to create. Okay, like we need to create a LAN address or some other address, or if any FQDN that we can create here. And internet services that we can create, right? Schedule virtual IP during the net, we can create virtual IP. And IP pool we can create. Okay. And after that we have some security profiles. Security profiles are like for antivirus, I can create some security profiles. We have default as well, and you can create your own as well. And for web filter also we have here some for URL, right? And for video filter we need to create. And DNS filter also available here. You have default as well, you can create your. And even for the application control, for applications we have default in the high risk applications. And we have intrusion prevention features, like these are the all features. You can create your own as well, like you need to know the signatures, which signatures are be used, right? And file filter, if you want to filter the file data, SSL, SSH inspection, right? So those we will discuss. And then we have here VPN section. VPN section is like how to create the tunnels, VPNs, right? So that idea we will get here, how to create SD-WAN tunnels. That tunnels will be visible here. Okay. And even for the SSL VPN portal, how to get access, how we can create SSL VPN clients from here. Okay. And we have user and authentication. We can create user groups, like for WhatsApp and all we can create. For guest, if we have AD server, we can use even LDAP, right? So we can use here. And we can use single sign-on concept, which we discussed. Okay. And after that we have system configuration, where we have like administrator of the firewall. On firewall, how we can configure multiple admins to log in it. And for those admins, what profile we can configure: super admin, pro admin, right? And fabric management is basically to manage the networks through it. Maybe you have some switches, those can be you manage through firewall. because Fortinet is giving you entire solution. So that means in your LAN, if you have Fortinet switch, Fortinet access point, those are also you can configure through your firewall. That is possible. Okay. And after that we have settings, like settings about the host name, the time zone, NTP sync. Okay. Forti link, and the ports where you want to access it, SSH port, telnet port, what you want to allow. So even you have logs and SMTP here, right? And after that, if you see here, we have HA configuration. So that is standalone. If we go with like active active or active passive, we need to give here group number, password, and we have to give interface and hardware interface. So we have to mention here which interface we want to use, or like specific management interface. We can call here any interface which is active, port 2, port 3, like this. Okay. And after that we have SMTP, sorry, SNMP. We can use SNMP to monitor the device, and we have some FortiGuard for more security features on the firewall, right? FortiGuard basically giving you idea about the updated features about virtual machine, firmware, introduction, and antivirus. Okay, so those things we will get here. And after that we have feature visibility. Feature visibility means which feature you want to visible on your device. You can enable those features from here, and they will be visible here, right? And after that we have some fabric features. If in LAN you have Fortinet solution, you can control that, and you can see those solutions from here. And the last thing about reports and logs on firewall, so where you can see the traffic. So right now there is no traffic, so nothing is visible here, right? So so that is about the Fortinet, guys, just for today. So in the first class we will start about the basics configuration from CLI, how to get the GUI access, right? And how to start the initial configuration on firewall. So till now, if you have any doubt from the first class, let me know. Everyone, Mohammed, Parmeg.
Everything is clear. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Next class gonna be on Saturday.
Yeah, next class, yeah, on Saturday, on next weekend. The timing will remain same.
Okay. Thank you very
We
much.
can,
Okay.
yeah, we can use the same link for the class, or it will be
Yeah, the link will remain same.
same.
If I
Okay,
if
that
we
means
will
the
update,
Google
we will
form.
post in the group. I guess you are already in the one group, right? Palo Alto and Fortinet group. So
I am
if
not
there
in the
will be
group.
any change,
Oh, I'm still
normally
not in
there
the
is.
group. Yeah, I will